The book I chose is called Virgie Goes to School with Us Boys, and it is by Elizabeth Fitzgerald Howard. On the first page, I read, Virgie was always begging to go to school with us boys. All summer long, she kept asking and asking. School's too far, Nelson said. School's too long, Will said. School's too hard, George said. And you too little, Val said. I'm big enough. Tell them, Cece, Virgie said to me. Virgie, Val kept right on, you scarcely big as a field mouse, and school's 7 miles from here. That's one long, long walk. And besides, Nelson added, we have to live at school all week. And when I read that, I stop and think and try to make a connection and think about how far 7 miles would be to walk. And these are children going to school. And they would have to stay at school all week. I think about the town that I live near, Zebulon. It's not even 7 miles from my house to Zebulon, and I would hate to think about walking from my house to Zebulon and have to stay all week because they wouldn't be able to go home every night. And I think about how much somebody would want to go to school to be willing to walk that far. And as I read, I find out that Virgie and her family are recently freed slaves, and they are going to a school that has been started by Quakers. And as they're on the way, Virgie and her brothers walking to school, they're going through the woods. Trees leaned over us. Shadows got darker. A branch snatched a hold of my shirt and my heart quit beating. Then Virgie whispered, let's sing. Just like a girl, Nelson said, but pretty soon he was singing too. Go Down Moses and Oh Freedom and Eyes Have Seen the Glory and all the songs we could think of. The walk went faster then, seemed not so dark. Soon we were out of the woods. And when I got to that page and I thought about that, I was able to make a connection there, a text-to-self connection, thinking about singing when you are afraid or scared or maybe lonesome or it's dark, maybe there's a storm. And I think about times when I have sang, even when I was by myself, I would sing, and it would make a scary time go by faster. And that is what Virgie and her brothers are doing. And as I read on, they get to the town and to the school. And on the last page, Virgie is talking. When we go home on Friday, Cece, she said, we tell Mama and Papa all we've learned. That way might seem like they've been to school too, learning to be free, just like us. And when I read that, I thought, learning to be free. Why would somebody have to learn how to be free? What exactly did she mean? But as I turn to the back, I see our author has written a note, and it's explaining her term, learning to be free. And she says here, repression of their natural desire to learn was perhaps the cruelest punishment endured by slaves before the Civil War. And here I actually make a text-to-text connection. I think about when I read Henry's Freedom Box several weeks ago, and I read there that slaves were not even allowed to know their own birthdays. And she says that the cruelest form of punishment for many of them was being denied the right to learn how to read and write, which is such a natural desire. And think about when they were not free, they were kept from knowing so much, and how much freedom is found in being able to learn and to know things. Virgie goes to school with us boys.